Getting to see new Bankai is one of the absolute highlights of reading and watching Bleach, and the Thousand Year Blood War arc of the series brought new, insane, and exciting Bankai reveals on a level of which we had never seen before for some of the series' most anticipated characters. And with the anime version of this arc literally right around the corner now, I thought it was a great time for a quick refresher on some of the absolute most hype, most exciting Bankai reveals to look forward to when the anime comes out. Now, when I said brand new Bankai, I meant it, as these 9 characters have never used Bankai in the series previously, and therefore they are the ones that I am the most excited for, the most hyped for, to see these totally unseen abilities appear and be brought to life on screen for the very first time. To kick things off, we have a Bankai that came completely out of left field, at least as far as I'm concerned, being the Bankai of Chojuro Sasakibe, the vice captain of the 1st Division. I don't think anyone really expected him to get any spotlight whatsoever, but then again, this is one of the weirdest executions of a Bankai I have ever seen in the series. It's completely unique in that regard, in the sense that this is probably the only Bankai, I think, that gets actively revealed after its wielder is dead and gone. Very, very strange, but at least we actually get to see Koko Gonryu Rikyu in action, and it does look rather spectacular, creating a violet palace of lightning behind the user, which then sends bolts raining down from the heavens above. This is a really cool Bankai, and I'm seriously excited to see it get used in the anime itself. It's definitely a shame that Chojuro himself doesn't get a chance to show us what this Bankai can do, but maybe if they're going to put some extensions in somewhere, add some new scenes, we might get a shot or two of Sasakibe activating his Bankai, at least before he meets his tragic end. And I'd absolutely love that. We've talked in the past on this channel about getting some kind of Chojuro versus Driscoll fight, so maybe that's where we'll get our first glimpse of this Bankai before it gets fully revealed in the first invasion. Up next, we have a Bankai for a character that I'm a big fan of, but I'm not sure that opinion is shared by too many other people, being the Vizard captain of the 3rd Division, Rojuro Rose Otoribashi, with his Bankai Kinshara Butodan. I love Rose, I've always loved this character, I love his look, his design, and his Zanpakuto Kinshara is both awesome, creative, and unique. I absolutely just adore his power set, or at least what we've got to see of it anyway. I think it's fascinating that his Zanpakuto uses the totally unique power of sound, of music and melody to trick his opponents into thinking they are being injured by things that are not actually there. His Bankai Kinshara Butodan does just that, wielding both fire and water against Masked Masculine, but what's really happening is Rose's Bankai, his dance troupe of death, which again is a fantastic visual that I can't wait to see brought to life, is simply making Master Masculine think he is being injured by these elements, and then because of that, because Mask's heart believes it to be true, he's actually feeling the effects. And personally, I'm wondering if maybe we'll get a little more from Rose's Bankai, since it was very short-lived in the manga itself. I would love to actually see maybe what Ein Heldenleben does before he gets rudely cut off, but more than anything, I'm just very excited to finally see this Bankai brought to life on screen. Up next is a Bankai that I was never really that excited to see back in the day, but now that the anime is coming out, the story has wrapped up, I cannot wait to see this one on screen. And that's the Bankai of the 4th Division's captain Retsu, or Yachiru Unohana, the first Kenpachi and a bloodthirsty witch that engages Zaraki in a duel to the death. And that fight in particular is one they absolutely have to get right. They need to nail the choreography, that sense of speed, ferocity, and battle hungriness that these two characters are so obviously feeling, to the point of insane elation. And Unohana's Bankai kind of took us by surprise. It almost felt like it came out of nowhere. But her Bankai, Minazuki, which, if it sounds familiar, that's because it is. It's the same name as her Shikai, only this time meaning all things end. looked really cool. The activation ritual was really cinematic. I loved seeing her basically draping this thread of blood and then seemingly wielding it as some kind of acidic whip. But the main reason I want to see this Bankai in the anime is an obvious one. To actually find out what it does, to finally put an end to that eternal debate that we've all been having since chapter 526 came out. Unohana's Bankai was delivered to us in an insanely cryptic and vague way, and I'm really excited to see if they add a little more to this part of the fight. Is her Bankai actually an acid blood whip that is literally melting them both to the bone, only for her to then revive them and keep the fight going? Or is it more of a metaphorical thing, where both her and Zaraki are being stripped down to their base instincts? I don't know, but I'm really excited to find out. This next Bankai could literally be fan fiction. If you had told me this 10 years ago that we were going to get this scenario, I would never have believed it. I would have been so excited to see this in the story, and that is the Bankai of the leader of the Zero Division, Ichibei Hyosabe, being used against an ancient Quincy king, with the fate of the royal palace hanging in the balance. And of course, that is another fight that I can't wait for. It's an amazing battle between two titanic behemoths, and I'm really intrigued to see how they translate Ichibei's powers to the screen. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they utilize his black ink splashing everywhere. That fight in the manga itself looks incredible, and I'm hoping they keep the essence and feel of that battle the same in the anime. And of course, his Bankai, or his Shinuchi, his evolved Zanpakuto as he calls it, Shirafude Ichimonji, it's going to be really awesome seeing that bone white ink being used to change Yuhaba's name to Ant, allowing Ichibei to get the upper hand on him. Just the idea of finally getting to see a royal guard go all out in a crazy battle is something that we have really been waiting for since Turn Back the Pendulum, and I'm really hyped to finally get this moment on screen. Next, we have probably one of the most well-deserved Bankai in the entire series, belonging of course to the 13th Division's Vice Captain, Rukia Kuchiki, in a moment universally loved by all, I would say, when she finally gets to prove to her brother that she has become strong, that she can stand on her own 2 feet, and she uses her incredible spectacle, a glittering, brilliant, beautiful Bankai, Haka no Togame, to bring down Byakuya's tormentor, Asnot, in a wonderful cap to an awesome fight that, again, I'm really looking forward to seeing in the show. But her Bankai being the Bankai of the supposed most beautiful Zanpakuto in all of Soul Society, Sode no Shirayuki, was always going to be a feast for the eyes, and it absolutely is. Seeing Rukia as this ice queen in a long flowing white robe, wielding a glass-like blade of ice, I cannot wait to see this, and I really just hope they do it justice and they make her look as stunning as she did in the manga. So I can't wait to see that, and Hakano Togame's lethal icy swing. The remaining Bankai on this list are all pure wish fulfillment. Characters that we all wanted to see a Bankai from and wanted to see one for years and years. These are the most anticipated Bankai users in the entire series, and considering most of them are revealed in the final third of this arc, that is when Kubo was really going crazy, just dropping these megaton bombs and just kind of giving the fans everything they had wanted from some of the most popular characters in Bleach. And of course, up first we have the new Captain Commander Kyoraku Shunsui and his long-awaited Bankai, Katen Kyokotsu Karamatsu Shinju, which is used to great effect against Sternritter X Liebaro in a fight that we've just done a full battle analysis on, so go and check that out if you haven't done already. But Kyoraku's Bankai is strange and conceptual, and it's going to be really interesting to see if they're able to capture the real essence of this Bankai in the anime. I'm expecting a really sinister mood, a strange, eerie, almost spooky vibe as the battlefield changes and becomes dour and bleak, cold, with the chills and this kind of just blackness of night, but not actually night, descends upon the battlefield. And I would love it as well if they included a bit more of the imagery of those black pines. I always thought they were really creepy looking, and I think they could really help it stand out. And overall, I'm just really looking forward to seeing Kyoraku making the most of his devastating 4-act play, enrapturing Lia in that narrative of the lover's suicide, and just putting him through all the trials and tribulations faced by the characters within that story. It's going to be great to see, and I'm hoping it is suitably dark, dreary, and just downright bleak, because that is the feeling, that oppressive feeling that Kyoraku's Bankai gives off. Occurring almost straight after this Bankai is another incredibly long anticipated one, and actually one of my favourite Bankai in the series, one that I think Kubo totally nailed as far as the character goes, and that's of course Kisuke Urahara's Kanon Biraki Benehime Aratame. Again, this should look amazing in the series when he summons the massive puppet draped in a crimson blood red robe, and we get to see her basically bending and warping reality. I'm really, again, this is a fight that I can't wait to see. Kisuke versus Askin, you know, two of my favourite characters in the series. I think this is a very popular fight in general, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how, again, they utilise Kisuke's Bankai in the anime. I'm hoping for a slight extension. Maybe we get a little bit more in terms of the actual activation of the Bankai. We get to see it perhaps putting itself together behind Kisuke would be a really nice additional detail. And I absolutely love Kisuke's Bankai's ability. It's, of course, incredibly deceptively simple. And while I can't wait to see him restructure things like his eyes and his hand, like he does in the manga itself, I'm kind of hoping maybe they show off a little more, show him restructuring anything else, really. I'd love to get some more examples of this Bankai in action in the middle of a life and death fight. I would just love more time with this Bankai in general, and by proxy that probably means more time with Askin, so that's always a good thing as well. The summon and usage of this Bankai definitely feels a little bit rushed in comparison, in that Kubo maybe was running out of time a little bit, and now with the anime we get a chance to really do it justice and give it the time it deserves. So I can't wait to see Kisuke's Bankai, which again has been teased for, you know, years and years at this point. And I can't wait to see it revealed in the anime finally, after so very long. Up next, we have perhaps the most surprising Bankai on this list, although I think people were very happy to see it when we finally did, being Zaraki Kenpachi's unnamed Bankai, revealed right at the end of the series. And when I say that, I mean this is probably the last hurrah in terms of new Bankai being revealed in the 1000-Year Blood War arc. Now, we do get Ichigo's Bankai revealed a little bit later than this one, but in terms of brand new Bankai being used by characters that had never used them previously, this was essentially the grand finale. And it feels like Kubo really did go crazy with this Bankai, turning Zaraki into a mindless, bloodlusted, crimson red Oni demon with huge horns and a monstrous demonic visage. It's just an awesome ability, really cool looking, and I can't wait to see if they capture that brutality in the anime. When he first activates it and his blade is smashed in half, the ground beneath him is completely cracked and broken, and he's hunched over like a beast ready to strike. I can't wait to see this brought to life. It needs to be crazy. Kenpachi needs to be absolutely going crazy on Gerard Valkyrie, leaping at him, blitzing him at a speed that we have never seen before, striking him with the power enough to destroy his massive shield, and it needs to feel that way as well. With Zaraki's guttural screams, you need to be able to sense that he has become a mindless monster, and I'm very excited to see what they do with this. Again, like Kisuke's Bankai, it's kind of over before it really gets going. So here's hoping they can maybe flesh it out again a little bit more and give Zaraki's Bankai a bit more time in the spotlight, because I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that. But of course, the most insane Bankai reveal in the Thousand Year Blood War arc, the most hype, the craziest one of all, that again feels like pure wish fulfillment. It feels like Kubo felt like he couldn't end the series without showing us this one. Being, of course, the Bankai of the captain commander of the entire Gotei 13, Shigekuni Genryusai Yamamoto's Zanka no Tachi. And of course, up until this point, Ryujin Jaka has been basically the benchmark for absolute power in the series. Every time it shows up, it is an absolute devastating force, just creating these incredible pages, amazing artwork of an intense inferno that swallows and engulfs everything it comes up against. And to get his Bankai, something people have theorized about again for years, how could Kubo possibly top such an unbelievable Shikai, was a moment of pure joy for the fanbase. But it wasn't as joyous as discovering Kubo could actually do it justice, and Zanka no Tachi is one of the most ridiculous Bankai in the entire series, but one, again, that I think will be just so amazing to witness in the anime. Seeing Yamamoto cloaked in flame as he uses Zanka no Tachi West, literally breathing fire out of his mouth, obliterating land masses from existence with Zanka no Tachi East, raising the dead, these charred black skeletons that he uses to fight for him as an army of darkness, the faces of people that he and Ryujin Jaka have killed in the past, coming back to work for him now, a true god of death who controls even the undying. I cannot wait to see this Bankai. It needs to be sinister, it needs to feel overwhelming, and it just needs to be a visual feast, and I'm so ready for this insane Bankai to be truly brought to life. Alright, so those are the 9 brand new Bankai being revealed in the Thousand Year Blood War arc, and I can't wait to see all of them in action when the anime rolls around, starting from October, just a few months away. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. These are the Bankai reveals from the Thousand Year Blood War arc that I feel are the most insane and the ones that people are going to be really looking forward to seeing, plus a personal preference of my own as well. But let me know in the comments below, of course, what Bankai from the Thousand Year Blood War arc are you most excited to see when the anime rolls around in October? It's so close now, it's time to start getting really excited. Alright guys, but I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, I'll catch you later. And I'll see you then.